Hello students, a very good morning. So students, in last class we have discussed about the behavior of liquids and gases as well as solids whenever they will get heated. So we have seen some of them are contracted, some of them are expanded. So the behavior we have discussed in last class. So for today let's discuss the next topic of the chapter, that is specific heat. So what is now specific heat? We will discuss all the things here. So first of all, as just now before discussing the specific heat capacity we have discussed. So heat capacity is the quantity of heat required to raise the temperature by 1 degree Celsius of any of mass of the body, then that is known as simple heat capacity. Similarly, specific word we are using whenever we are giving some specific data, means we will start to use the value of the mass that is equal to now 1 kg or 1 gram. So suppose 1 gram of MAP or 1 gram substance, if we will see the heat required to raise the temperature by 1 degree Celsius, then that is known as specific heat of that substance. So specific heat is simple, that is the related to heat capacity, but here that is a change by the unit mass, just is definition. Now after this, if we will see specific heat by experiment. So specific heat or the heat required that is needed to change the temperature, then that is depending on two factors. First factor, it is depending on the mass. The second factor on which the heat required to change the temperature, it is depending on the change in temperature. So simple, this delta Q, suppose that is the heat we have supplied to the system. This heat supplied system is depending on these two conditions, mass and temperature. So if we will combine now this result, so delta Q will be equal directly proportional to M delta T, or delta Q, this will be M, some constant we will have MC delta T, where C is what? C is called now heat capacity, or we are also calling it specific heat capacity of the liquid or the system. After that, the next one things in the chapter, that is here, if we will define now the specific heat. So specific heat, this is heat capacity, capital C, whatever you are seeing. Now specific heat, for that one we are using a word and denotation, that is small s. So just now I have defined small s is what? That is heat required, means delta Q, that is heat required to change the temperature of 1 gram unit gram by 1 degree Celsius unit change in temperature. So delta Q upon M delta T, this will be now the specific heat. So that is now the formula for the specific heat from here. Now next one, let's see the next concept, that is called molar specific heat or molar heat capacity. So then the next topic after the defining specific heat, simple, it is related to the change in temperature of the system. So molar specific heat is what? How can we define it? First of all, let's see that one. So it is defined as the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram mole of the substance through a unit degree. So if 1 mole of any substance, that is the quantity of substance whose mass or in gram is numerically equal to the mass capital F. So this is C is equal to, we can write M into S, means specific heat that is connected to 1 gram mole. So if whole of the mass of the system, molar mass is M, so with 1 gram mole, if the specific heat is S, then overall M mass or M molar mass, the specific heat will be M into S, and that is called now molar heat capacity from here. Now next one, if we will calculate the number of moles small n in the given mass in gram of the substance, then we divide the this molar mass M by we divide small m by the molar mass. So we can write now m is the number of moles, that is now one mass of mole, that is divided by overall number total molar mass. So from here we can write this small n is equal to n into m from here, first one. After this one, we can use now this equation s is equal to delta q upon m delta t from here. So if you will use this one, so delta q now this can be written as small m is equal to capital M n into capital M this into delta t from here. So we can now connect this one, or we can write from here the next thing, this m is molar mass or m into s. This can be or this one can be written as now m, you can write now this side. So m into s, that can be written as delta q upon delta t into 1 by n from here. So this is now the molar heat capacity of the any system that we can calculate easily the rate of change of heat per degree Celsius to the number of moles present in the system. Now next one, after this discussion, let's see the variation of specific heat with temperature. So variation of specific heat now with temperature, this was a very, you can say, confusing topic, and one by one number of scientists have worked on that one. So first of all, when for the solids, when the variation of specific heat with temperature, it started to discuss, and first you can say effort was done by Dulong and Petit. So Dulong Petit has given a law, Dulong-Petit's law. According to his law, specific heat is independent of temperature, and the specific heat is equal to 6R for all kind of solid materials. But later, experimentally, it has been seen that the graph between specific heat and temperature, if we have started to plot a graph between Cp and or S and T, then that time this graph, now this is just like obtained as this kind of graph we are getting. So we are getting, first of all, this graph started to increase. After that, it starts to attain a constant value. So what is now the reason behind this one? So for here experimentally we can see this is varying with temperature, but not with linear variation. We have also, we can see now this is not linear, sometimes is it curved behavior. Again, after this discussion, that was tried to correct it by Einstein. Einstein has given also effort to calculate the variation of specific heat with the temperature, but according to his concept, the specific heat that was directly proportional to temperature. So at somewhat reason his law was fulfilled, but not for the all temperature it was satisfied. So again this law was failed, and later next law that was given by Debye, and that is now the most acceptable law. According to that one, specific heat that is directly proportional to T to the power 3 by 2. So this is known as T cube law also, or it means that here also the specific heat that is varying with the third power of the temperature. So in this way, our curve that was satisfied basically by the Debye law, and overall if we will see Dulong-Petit and Einstein law. So Einstein law was fulfilled for low temperature, where Debye law was fulfilled for higher temperature, where the specific heat become constant. Sorry, not Debye law, Dulong-Petit law, and Debye law is acting for all possible values. So this is now the first of all variation of specific heat with temperature now, and here the discussion and the work of scientists belong behind this one, how much works they have done up to now. Next one, after C, let's see the specific heat of water. The next topic, that is the specific heat of water. So as for the water, if you will see, so water is showing obviously the practical behavior also for the specific heat, just like density and the volume. So we have seen just like from 0 to 4 degrees Celsius, the water is showing some anomalous behavior. Due to that one, also its specific heat is changing. For 0 to degrees Celsius, it is also changing, and depending on about its density. Next one, after this one, the next topic that we have to study, that is heat capacity and thermal capacity. So just now I have discussed already that one. Heat capacity, that is the temperature, heat required to raise the temperature by 1 degree Celsius of any amount of substance, that is known as heat capacity. And now the next term, let's see, that is the term, very important term, that is water equivalent. So what is now water equivalent? So water equivalent of a body, it is defined as the mass of water in gram which would absorb or evolve the same amount of heat as it done by the body in rising or falling through the same range of temperature. So it is represented by W. So it means that here we can take water as an equivalent behavior, or to just take the relative things for, by using the water equivalent. And here by the definition just now we have discussed, if we know that delta Q, that is heat, is equal to Sm delta T, that is the specific heat concept, we know that. And now if as we will see, that is specific heat of the body. After that, if the same amount of heat here by the formula, that is same amount of heat that is required to raise the temperature of W gram of water through the same range of temperature, means we can write now delta Q is equal to some W into delta T. So this is our formula that is saying water, the definition of water equivalent. So by this one, if water equivalent, you will see that's value by comparison, it is equal to S into M. So this is now the value of water equivalent for any of the system. So simple water equivalent of a body, that is equal to the product of mass of the body and specific heat of the body. So we can equate or we can relate that with the property of simple water. So students, I think about the specific heat, whatever we have discussed, small things, that is now clear. So let's now see the next topic of the chapter. So next topic of chapter after this is change of state. So what is now change of state? Change of state, that is as we know that matter that is exists in three phases: solid, liquid and gas. So whenever any matter that is in solid form, we start to heat it, then the relative intermolecular separation between molecules start to increase and the system starts to change into liquid or in gases. So how the change we can understand it, let's see now. So here simple conversion of the stages or conversion of the phases, that is solid, liquid and gas, into one another, that is known as change of state. So there is commonly two types of change of state of matter. The first one, solid to liquid or liquid to solid. Solid to liquid or liquid to solid. The second type of situation is possible, that is liquid to gas or gas to liquid. So just vice versa process. So these are now the two situations. Also one more situation is possible, directly solid to gas also. Now if you will see, during the change of the state of a substance, the exchange of heat take place between the substance and the surrounding. So to understand the state of change of state from solid to liquid or from liquid to solid on heating or cooling, so we perform the following experiment. So let's see now the experiment that we can perform to understand the situation very well. So take some piece of ice in beaker. Note the temperature of ice, that is 0 degree Celsius. So start heating the beaker slowly on a constant heat source. So use the heat source that can provide the constant heat there. Now the ice starts to melt into water, that is obviously. So stir continuously the ice and water and note its temperature after every 1 minute. So until the water starts boiling and it is converted into vapor state. Means first the ice starts to change into water, and up to the water is changing into vapor state, you have to continue stir it. You have to note the temperature after every 1 minute interval. You have to do it. Now after the doing the experiment, draw a graph between temperature and time. So we will get a graph that is shown in now figure. So this kind of graph, now on this one we are taking now the time t, and on this one we are taking temperature in degree Celsius. Now this is suppose point A, B, C, D, and this is O. So this kind of a graph O, A, B, C, D, this kind of graph we will obtain whenever we will do experiment and we will plot the graph now. So let's see now the explanation of this curve, this one curve that will define the change of state one by one. So we can now write down this whole of the curve in some different manners here. One by one I will tell you. Just let me rub this one. So I think this graph you have plotted. So let's start to discuss why we will get this graph in this way whenever we will perform the experiment. So from the if we will see again the graph. So in the graph, if the first one you will see from this is the point O, and this is suppose our point A. So this is now point O, this is point A that we will have. So up to from 0 to point A here, there is no change in temperature till the whole ice in the beaker that will melt. Means continually, if there will be the change in temperature, there will be the change in state, means ice will melt and it will convert into water here. So we can see now if this is now A, this point is the 0 degree Celsius, this temperature in which the water ice starts to melt. So this is now known as melting point. So on A, the ice starts to melt here. So it means that now you can see the phase that you can see between this one, the phase of ice that will be solid phase up to this. Now again, whenever we will start to increase the temperature, then that temperature will take time to change or to melt the ice into water completely. So during its time, as we have seen, we are getting the graph in this linear way. Means even the time is varying, but temperature is not varying here. So it means that the heat that we are supplying continuously, that is all of the heat is used to change the state, not to change the temperature. So whenever we can say now, whenever an intermediate state is coming, whenever solid, liquid, both phases are at one place, here you can see up to O to A, the whole of the ice is in only solid phase, but at 0 degree Celsius at A point, it starts to melt, and whenever it starts to melt up to the point B, it will continually melt and it will take all of the heat only to change the state, not to change its temperature. So this kind of thing that is known as latent heat, means the heat that is used to change the state but not to change the temperature, that is known as latent heat. In this condition only change of state that is done. So change of state that is done, and the change of state that is done is doing from solid to liquid. Means ice is getting melt and it will convert it to water whenever the it will reaches to this point B. Now again, whenever all of the ice that will convert into the water, then at B point we can say now the liquid phase starts to change. Again, if we will starts to increase the or we will supply heat continuously, then again whenever all the ice will convert to liquid, means again one phase we will have, then temperature will again starts to rise and it will rise continuously up to 100 degrees Celsius. And this point, this will obtain a point C. Now this point is known as boiling point. So what is now the boiling point? At this point here, the liquid starts to boil now. So up to this point, we need to see all the heat that will change to or that will be taken to change the temperature. So whenever the change in temperature will occur, here the phase of the system we will see that is in the liquid phase. So it will be poured in liquid phase from B to C. But whenever it will come to C point, means whenever the temperature will become 100 degrees Celsius, then liquid starts to or water starts to vaporize, and it means that the water starts to convert into gas. So it means liquid starts to convert into gas. Again, at this point, as liquid starts to convert into gas, then phase change starts to degrade. And in that situation, again, an equilibrium state will be defined. Means we can say there is an intermediate state between liquid gas system. So up to the conversion of all of the water into gas, we will not get any kind of change in temperature. So whenever intermediate state will change, means here again the change of state will occur, and that change of state will be from liquid to gaseous system. So it is changing, and that time temperature will be constant. And now again after this, if it will reaches to the point D, then whole of the water will be converted into gas, and still it will give the heat to that one. Then again the temperature will starts to increase. So this is now whole of the diagram that represent how the state is changing, how the temperature is changing, or how the heat is utilized in the system to change the state. I think that is now clear, very clear by this whole experiment and by this diagram now. After this one, students, let's see now the next topic here. And before just this topic here, we can understand in change of the state the 2 points that we have got. So 2 points that we have got, that was melting and boiling point. So what is now melting point? So melting point was that point, that is at which point the liquid is solid starts to melt, means solid start to convert into liquid. So that limit of temperature at which solid will starts to convert into liquid, that is called melting point. Similarly, boiling point is what? Whenever the liquid starts to convert into gas at which temperature, that is known as its boiling point. In the same way, if in the reverse process we will do, means now we will start to do cooling. We will start to decrease the temperature, or we will start to extract heat from the system. Means if we have vapor, we have started to extract heat from the vapor, then that time it will start to show the cooling effect. Then again we will see the reverse diagram of the graph. Means from gases to vapor states to liquid state it will change first, and now from liquid states to again solid state it will convert, and that is process is known as again we can say it to fusion system, whenever the from liquid to solid state it is converting. So that is, I think now clear how the state that is changing in any of the system, clearly that is understood by you. So students, I think today we have discussed about the specific heat and the change of state. So that is all very important things to stand here. That is how the state is changing, as we have only 3 types of phases that we have discovered up to now: solid, liquid and gases, how they are related, whether all 3 systems are obtained at a single time or not. Like for water, water is always taking the path from change to solid to liquid, then liquid to gas, but there are some materials that directly changes from solid to gaseous system, like Kampur we have. So these are all the example, I think we can take as the example. So here these are all the examples where all the things are started to change, like means directly from solid to gaseous system, and this process is known as sublimation process, where from solid to gaseous system we are observing. So this is, I think, clear students to all. How can we understand the variation of temperature with time, or variation of if we will supplying the heat, how the state is changing. So let's end our class here with this discussion.